So welcome everybody. Today we are going to be doing a short webinar, or maybe I will say a webinar, not a short probably, regarding the application for Feeding Futures for the year 2024-2025. The application link will be in the chat, but also in an email that I will send after the webinar. For the webinar, I will be filling out one sample for the application. And don't worry if you miss any of the notes or anything, I will be sending that full template to everybody, as well as a PDF with the survey questions. So we're gonna try to cover both today. I'm gonna try to go in a slow pace because I know it's a lot of information, but I know most of you are familiar already with the application that we did last year because it's quite similar. We have just few questions that are a little bit different, but it's a lot of like drop-down menus. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to cover everything. And then I also going to touch base in the survey because there are going to be a few other questions that are brand new for us. So I'm going to start now. If you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or to just, just unmute yourself, and I'm happy to go through. So I'm going to share my screen right now. If somebody please kindly can give me some thumbs up that you guys can see my screen, that will be very good. Okay, and I'm gonna I'm gonna try to pin myself. Sorry. Okay. Okay, I think we're ready here. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger so everybody hopefully can see things. We will be, I see a message here. Thank you so much for giving me thumbs up. Okay, so we have here different, all the different, I'm gonna put this one here so I can see. All the different tabs that we have. So in the tabs, we have 6 different tabs that we're gonna be working on the application. I know there was some errors with the previous application that I sent, and a lot of the drop-down menus were not working. So please, please, please use this one or the one that I'm going to send on the link with the webinar, because that's the one that is actually working. So if not, we will have to redo it, and it will be a lot of extra work for both parts. So hopefully everybody has this one, and if not, the link is in the chat, and I will send it again on an email later today. So we have 2 different, we're going to start very basic. The first one is about the program. Most of us already know what happened and, how the government decided to start this program last year. And it's this, we are hoping that this start longer, but for sure we know that the next 3 years we will be having this funding. The second one is about the instructions that you guys can read it. It's a lot of information here, but we're going to go through all that today. So if you want to have extra time, sure, you can read it. If not, don't worry, we will be explaining everything here. The tab number 3 is eligible expenses spending. So you will see what are allowed and what are not. Just for the sake of everybody and for, just to make sure we are allowed to still using gift cards this year. Of course, we are moving towards some kind of food program, but don't feel worried about this. We're still having the opportunity to use gift cards if that's part of your food program this year. You can just spend a little bit more time about what they are, but actually they are very similar to what we use this year with Feeding Futures, all the expenses that we're using. And we're going to move now to the UC part, okay? So we're going to start now on with the application, that it will be the part 1. So the part 1 is the very first part when we are going to be writing your name, your title, whoever is filling out the application. We recommend that even if it's somebody else from your school, that your principal or the principal of the school at the end review everything, and they will be signing this part. So we know that the principal of the school is aware of all the expenses and all those kind of things. So your telephone, please. And this is also a drop-down menu. So feel free to find your school here. Okay. So you find it here, drop-down menu, and then I actually going to erase this so there is no confusion, but I will do this. You will say also this is a drop-down menu saying, are you presenting your spending plan? Yes, we're going to do it right now. are you submitting your survey? Remember that there is also an online survey that we're going to be talking about that in tab number 6. So you will say yes because we're going to submit it. This one, don't worry, is going to be filling it out when we go to the next tab. So you don't have to put anything here. And this is the declaration. So this is the one that I encourage your principals to please, or anybody in the school, head of a school, that please write yes, because that means that you are aware of what is happening in this application. So all of them are drop-down menu. Please, all of them sign that you are yes. Okay. All of them. And perfect. So this is the very first part, very easy. And we're going to move now to the second part. And you're going to see that my application looks a little bit different because I was able to put some notes. Yours is not going to look with these little letters here in color are not going to be in your application, but I'm going to send it to you so you guys can also have it. So the first part, I'm going to be referring it to us by lines, just like we did in the year-end report, so it's easier for us to follow up. So I'm going to start with the line number 7. Line number 7 is your notional allocation that was communicated by us on June 14. So once again, if you're still not missing, if you missed the email or something, feel free to send me an email later today, or when you're watching this video, and I'm happy to send you your notional allocation. So your notional allocation is the number that your school is being offered. And for the sake of this exercise, I'm gonna say that my notional allocations is 20,000. So you will see that when I click here, it will just appear here right away. And then I know most of the schools that are applying this year already apply on the 23-24. But if you are a brand new school and you are applying for first time, feel free to say, yes, this is my first time. But for us, or most of us, is no, this is not my first year that I am applying. Here is the next line number 10. Do you have the capacity to spend your full notional allocation? That means that if you are actually have a plan that you're going to spend the full thing or the full amount, say yes. After I received few of the emails for report this year, I see that some schools were not able to spend the full amount just because there was some circumstances. So if you feel that maybe it's not what your school is doing, you can always write no, and then you will write how much money. So let's see that instead of 20,000, I only want 15. So I will write 15, okay? For anybody else who say, no, I actually want my full notional allocation, I actually feel I have a plan and I know that I'm gonna be able to spend, that I actually recommend that you always try to spend your full notional allocation. Just don't write anything here, and then we will continue. So hopefully so far we're okay. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I guess we're doing okay. We're gonna move now to section 2. And section 2 is the one that sometimes gets us a little bit confused. So you can see that I have some notes here for all of us to understand. And I know the questions get a little bit weird, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to be writing to have it right. So it's say if your school would like to receive a top-up. So if there are schools that are not taking the notional allocations, you know that the system, what happened is that everything goes back to the funding model, and the funding model will be again to distribute in the schools that are eligible. So we always have very kind schools that decide to don't apply and donate it back. So that will be going back to schools and families that are that have extra needs. So if your school would like to receive any extra funds, write yes. It's a drop-down menu, and we're gonna write yes here. I know this is a tricky one because a lot of people say yes or no, but I know the question is exactly the same as last year, and we're gonna say, I wrote a note here. If your school would like to receive extra funds, if they are available, please write yes here. So your next box, that will be this, will change, okay? Because we don't need a gray box, we need a yellow box. So if you decide to don't take any more funds, then you will be having all these no, okay? But because in my situation, I actually want to have some extra, I'm going to do two different things. First, I'm going to say yes, yes, and then I'm going to add the amount that I want plus my notional allocation. It's very important, as I say here, include your notional allocation. So in my case, remember my notional allocation was 20,000, and I would like to have a top up of 5,000 extra if it's possible. So I'm going to write 25,000. So 25,000. Please, please, please don't be shy. And when you are asking for top up, you can please add a number because that helps the ministry to understand how far and how more we can go. So if we write nothing or whatever is available, normally you will get your notional allocation. So please write a number here, including your notional allocation. So that will give us for sure. And you can write 10,000, 20,000, really you can write as much. We know that probably I won't get my 5,000, maybe I get extra 4 or maybe I get extra 3, but try to write your maximum that you will be able to spend. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. If I don't see anything in the chat, I will continue. So I don't see anybody writing anything. So, okay. So I will keep moving into the line 22. Line 22, it's about any other sources that we use in our program. So I'm going to have 2 recommendations here. One, some schools receive extra funding from other organizations, or could be for your church, or could be from other, nonprofit organizations. You can add it here if you receive any other fundings or any other sources, donations and everything else. And then you will have to write, for example, let's see that I received 1,000, and then I will write here donations. Now, my recommendation, if it's a small amount and you are not sure about what you will receive in this year, I will recommend that you don't write anything. Just leave it very clean. So the only numbers that we're going to be using will be your Feeding Futures funding and probably the extra ones. I really recommend that do not complicate your life. Let's try to make it simpler and cleaner. But if you receive, you know for sure that you're going to receive that, and that will be for food programs. I encourage you that you add it here. You will see that any number you add here, it will change this number too. So let's just make a little example here. So if I add 10,000, you see it changed to 30,000. And this is a number that we will keep in our mind. But I will erase this for now. So going into 27 line, this is gonna be the number that we're gonna be keeping in our mind because that's the notional allocation. But you also need to remember your top up. So don't worry. I'm going to tell you a little bit down what is happening in these numbers. So just more information about what we can spend and how we can do it. And we're going to move now to this part that is always my favorite because it's when we actually can plan and organize. And I know it has a lot of colors, but don't worry. I'm going to explain you and you will see that it's very, very easy. So in line 43, what they want to us in these 3, 44, 45, and 46, they want that we tell them how we're going to spend all my money, in which category I'm going to put it. And when I mean all my money, means my notional allocation and my dream money, my wish money, what I want, hopefully what I get. Okay, so even if you are not getting the 25 yet, I'm going to make a plan so they can see that I can spend it. So that's why I put here the total amount of these 3 categories should be my wish list, my wish of my number that is the wish, okay? So line 44. Line 44 is for food procurement, and that means only physical food that you will provide in your school, okay? Any kind of snacks, hot lunches, if you're gonna give vouchers, if you're gonna give, if you're putting breakfast, you're gonna do open access breakfast, if you're gonna do anything that implies groceries or food that the children are actually gonna eat in their school. Anybody who is in the school and fruits, vegetables, all those kind of monies, you're gonna put it here. So in my case, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna spend 19,000 in food procurement, okay? The second one is the numbers that we're going to spend on staff. And I know this discussion, we have it before. So we are, we cannot spend more than 10 percentage of our total funding. No more than 10%. It's kind of like 10% is the maximum that we can put into this. I know it's still a very small amount, but we're gonna, last year was a little between 5, 7. This time we're gonna be able to spend at least 10. The most 10% in this. So remember 10% of your full notional allocation or your full number. So for me, I actually not gonna spend so much in staff, so I'm just gonna put 1,000. So here when I count, I have 20,000, but I still remember that I'm gonna do it with my big number. So I'm gonna still using letter C. And letter C is when you're gonna add or you're gonna include your grocery carts, anything that you, small appliances, or anything that you're gonna use on your garden, okay? So remember, this is only for grocery carts. Let's see that your school this year are only gonna use grocery carts. Your full amount goes here, okay? But we're gonna do it for everybody to have a little bit of a sample. So I have my 19 on my food procurement, my 1,000 in my staff, and also I'm gonna use 5,000 on gift cards and gardens and appliances and everything. So remember, when I add this, it should give me the big number. So I have 19,000, 1,000, and 5,000 give me a total of 25. 20,000 from my lunch allocation and 5 that are my top up. Okay, so hopefully we're okay here. Did anybody has any question? Let me just check. Nobody is writing. Okay, thank you so much, guys. So feel free to stop me if you want me to just go back, and if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to go back to any of the parts. Okay. Now we're gonna move into the second, the 5.2, that is the additional detail or partnerships. This is a very easy one. Most of you already know how to reply already. So this is in line 50 is about third-party providers. So here it could be your school fruit and vegetable, your Salvation Army, Munch a Lunch, anybody who is helping you that is a third party that is not in your school. It could be your food banks. It could be any other person or any other institution organization that help you. If you have nobody, because everything is done in your school, you can actually leave this empty. There is no wrong or right here, okay? And then moving into the food supplier. So most of us are already very familiar with this because we just did it in our report. And this is about where you're buying your food, okay? So you don't need to write me Costco or Walmart or anything like that. You can just write grocery stores. You can write local farms. You can write local, there are a lot of people who are using farmers market. All those kind of places, you can write it here. And if you don't, you can only just write grocery stores, okay? So not so much to work on here. Okay, now we're gonna move to line 59, and we're doing great timing. We're almost halfway, so the tricky part is almost over. So I thank you so much for following up. So we have the staffing. So remember that we were talking about how the maximum that we will be using will be 10%. So in my case, I'm only using from my funding, I'm only using 1,000, that is the 4%. So you have to make sure that this is aligned to this number, okay? Okay, I see a question. 5.3, did I miss 5.3? Yes, 5.3, we are, okay. Yes, we're talking about now the percentage of the 5.3, we're gonna be talking about the staff. So that's why I was coming back into this one, because this line say how much I will be spending on my staff. So I say that for my $25,000, I will spend 1,000. So that means that 1,000 is only the 4% of my total number. So hopefully that makes sense. So let's see that I decide to, I'm going to spend actually my 10%. I have to arrange my numbers here. Sorry, I'm trying to do math in English, so sometimes it's a little bit tricky for me. So let's see that I decide to do this instead. Okay, so that means that instead of 4%, I'm gonna put 10%, right? Oops. Hopefully it worked, because I know this one was a little bit tricky when people was telling me. Let me just erase this. I know the percentage in this form are gonna be funny. So let me see. Let's try again and see if I can do it. Let's see. Hopefully, nope, still working. Okay, I know that if this is gonna be 1,000, means that you are not actually using that, will be at 10. So don't worry about this one. Worry about the number that you put here, and I'm always happy to just redo this when I put it on when I upload it. Okay. Sorry about it. I know there was some people telling me about this, that they were not doing it properly. I'm gonna change this so then it makes sense for the people later when we are going back into this. Sorry, I hope I answered your question. If that was okay, did anybody have any question about that? Oops, now it's actually not working. So, okay. So I'm not gonna get here into, no. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna keep it like that. Oh, okay, it works now.
Oh,
Yes, somebody's talking. Yes.
excuse me. So it says food purchased and provided using school staff. Is that the cost of the food or is that the cost of the staff?
This is the cost of the staff.
Okay.
Are you talking about line 59?
I'm talking about line 54.
Oh, 54. No, 54. Sorry about it. I was talking in line 59. Line 54 is the places where you're gonna buy, where your staff buy the food. It's
Okay.
not a it's not
So
a it's not a number. It should be a name because it's
oh,
the food that your staff is buying, either you or your staff. So that's why your snacks, you know, I got every week a bunch of oranges and a bunch of granola bars. I'm getting it from Costco. So I'm gonna write just grocery stores. This is this part.
okay.
Mhm.
No. Okay.
Perfect. No numbers here. We will be talking about numbers. We're already here, and we're gonna talk numbers later. So that will be just names.
Percentage.
Yes. Okay. Anybody has any other question, or I got confused about anything, or confused you guys about that? Your food procurement, that will be probably the question that you were having, is here. So this is the number where you're gonna put all the money that you're gonna spend on food, physical food that you're actually giving to the children during your school time. Okay. This is the number that you're gonna use for your staff to pay your staff. And this is the number that you're gonna use for other things that are not food, that you're gonna be hopefully your grocery carts or small appliances or garden. I can see appliances wrong, but okay. I'm gonna continue now with line 59. Let me see, I have a question here. Yes, yeah, anybody who is buying food, your staff, your parents, anybody who is buying food, yes, that's if that's the, you will put it in here. So maybe you are, you know, some parents are the ones who are in charge of buying your food and they go every week to Walmart. So you just write grocery stores. You don't have to write how much or how much you're going to spend. That will be later in the year when we do report. Right now, it's just for us to know where you guys are getting the food. That's basically the question. Are you going to a local store? Are you going to the farmers market? Are you making some partnerships? That's kind of like the question, what they are asking us. So yes, no numbers, just names. Whoever is buying the food. Now we're gonna move. So I know hopefully your percentage is working, and if it's not working, don't worry about this. Just write the number here, and I'm happy to do your math for you when I put it on the database. Okay. Now, as you can see, moving into line 61 about the additional details, you see that I put it in red, in pink. So why do you say, how come you put it in pink? Because now we're going to talk about this line. So in this line, you use, that is the project total, you use your, you put 5,000. So this is the number that now we're gonna describe what we're gonna use here. So just to make sure, I only using $5,000 in other spending. Now, in this part, they told me, okay, you say you're gonna use $5,000 in other spending. Tell me what is that other spending that you're gonna use, okay? So it doesn't have to be through all my number. It only has to be with the number that I put on letter C. So you can see here, my quantity must match line 46. Line 46 is 5,000. So I'm going to divide now this 5,000 among here. So let's see. I need supplies for provision of the food. So that means any small appliance, anything else that you say, you know what, I realized that we got 4 toasters, but I actually feel that I need 1 extra because it was not enough. Or I realized that we have 3 microwaves with this year, but we need maybe an extra one. So we will try to be, you know, you're going to try to put here the number of what you're thinking that you may be spending on your appliances. Lots of the school already got appliances this year and are ready to go. So you don't have to write anything if your food program is set up with everything you need. If you feel that last year you didn't do it and this year you need something, you can always, you know, write your appliances here. Keep in mind that the percentage that we use here should be smaller. So let's see that you got 20,000. Please don't spend 15 in a freezer or a stove or anything, because that's a lot of the money going into appliances. Try to be mindful, keep a small percentage, but you can still using some money this year for appliances if you need it. So for me, I'm gonna say that I did few crock pots, but I need an extra one because I realized that I need some that and a toaster. So I'm gonna give $500. Now, food security will be any money that you're planning to spend on grocery hampers, grocery gift cards, or anything that are, no, actually just grocery hampers and grocery gift cards. A lot of the schools, they may only fill this part if you are only using gift cards. So for me, I'm going to say that I'm going to use $4,000 in gift cards this year. And the last one will be, if you're using grocery cards, they say that you should have a policy in place. So you will see that actually the menu will be like this. You will say, yes, I do have a policy in place. Your policy doesn't have to be big and, pages. Your policy have to be very clear, saying, yes, I know how I'm going to distribute my gift cards. So yes, I know how I I wrote a little example here saying the school will provide gift cards based. Oh, I'm sorry about my grammar here, based on our financial assistance program, or it could be saying, we use our third party, like our church, come and give us. You need to have just a very clear idea of how you're distributing your gift cards. So please just write one sentence about how you're planning to distribute it in case you're using it. And the last one is other. Other is anything else that I want to spend in my garden. Remember that gardens can be, a little bit of a soil, maybe some seeds for this year, anything else that you need. Please, any big purchases about garden, you need to contact me. This is not for capital, so this is not for, for any of the wood or anything to build a garden. This is just more for small amounts that you can use, like seeds, small tools, little plants. But really, we're trying to emphasize that gardens are a long-term thing to provide food. And what we want to try to encourage this year is that people start using the money more for food instead of investing in big gardens. So please be mindful about that. So in this case, I'm going to write $500. So now you can see that I have 4,000 plus 500 plus 500 will give me 5,000. That is the same amount that I should be writing here. If you say, you know what, I'm not doing this, I'm using all my $5,000 in gift cards, this is the place where you put your 5,000. If you say, you know what, I actually using all my money in gift cards, this is the place where you put all your money, and this should be empty. Well, this should be empty and this should be 25. So hopefully that makes sense. If I confuse you, please, guys, stop me, and I'm happy to go back to any of the questions here. I'm gonna give you a few minutes to see if you need any extra time. Yes. Okay, I didn't hear any, or I didn't see anything. So I'm gonna continue. So this is the part, this is the last part that we have numbers. So yeah, we finished that part. Now, we're gonna move now to these questions, okay? And these questions, you will see that I have a little bit of a color code because these questions are gonna be related. So I'm gonna explain you very quick. It's not that hard. We're gonna be able to do this. If you are doing gift cards, you don't need to do anything here. But if you are not, we will be going into each one of the questions. So line 68 is how often do you plan to offer free meals? This could be breakfast and lunch to students in needs, okay? No snacks, breakfast or lunch only. So I say, you know what, drop down menu. I say, no, I'm not planning to offer any of these food. I'm not planning to offer breakfast or lunch this year. Yes, let me see, I see a question. Oh, sorry about that. Yes, Diana is asking me, can you clarify again if we need to note down a percentage of staffing if the people buying the groceries are using volunteer time? No, the percentage here is the money. The percentage here is the people who is actually getting paid. So 1,000, my teacher is getting 1,000 from the funding. So it's only 4% of my funding. So anybody who is a volunteer, you don't need to write anything here. Just people who is getting paid that you're actually using the money for Feeding Futures. Okay. So going back into the questions about the food program. So in my case, I say, no, I'm not giving any lunch or breakfast this year. Then we're gonna be going to line number 70. 70 is, do you plan to offer free snacks? That means no meals. Free snacks could consider, you have some bowl of fruits, you have some granola bars, maybe you have some yogurt, maybe you have something that is just more kind of like a grab and go, but very one single item or something like that. So that means yes, I actually gonna say yes to this one. Do you plan to offer partially subsidized meals, breakfast or lunch to students in need? This is for us when we are saying, you know what, yeah, we're gonna give to the children we're gonna give some vouchers, we're gonna pay, maybe we're gonna pay once every week, to the lunches for these kids. So it's when it's subsidized and it's a meal, okay? Or well, partially subsidized. So then that means that I'm gonna write yes. The next one will be, did you plan to offer, I'm in line 74, did you plan to offer partial subsidized snacks to the students in need? And I would say no, because actually here in line 70, I say that I'm gonna offer it free. So I'm not charging anybody. So I'm saying, no, I actually not doing subsidized, I'm doing free. And the next one is like, if you are planning to offer other types of food assistance. So remember that I say here that I'm actually using some money for gift cards. So what I did here is like, yes, we will provide some grocery gift cards 3 times a year to support the families during their winter, spring, and summer breaks. This is really up to you guys. You can say I'm only offering gift cards, or you can say, you know what, I'm offering gift cards at the end of the year. If that is your case, some of you may not offer any gift cards, so you can always say no. And then you will see that this will turn into a different color. Okay. So this is about a school food program. Now, why do you have colors in this one? Because these are based on the ones that are on top. So hopefully that makes sense. So let's move here. I'm gonna say line 86 is the frequency that you are planning to offer free meals. So remember, here they asked me if I was offering free meals, but I say no. So that means that my answer here should be not applicable because I'm not doing that program. Okay, so that's why this one and this one are exactly the same. They are answering one another. The next one is line 89, what frequency did you plan to offer free snacks to the students in need? So remember here, I say, yes, I'm planning to offer free snacks to the students in need, and I'm planning to do it daily. The next one will be, what frequency do you plan to offer partially subsidized meals, breakfast or lunch to students in need? So I say here that yes, I actually gonna offer some subsidizing, maybe I'm gonna pay some and then parents are gonna pay something and I'm gonna write, so I say yes, so this is gonna be monthly, okay? Let me go and answer the question. Okay, let me see. If we plan to offer snacks to the bi-weekly, what option do you, sorry, I'm gonna read it properly. If you're planning to offer snacks through the school fruit and vegetable program bi-weekly, what option do you select? You're probably gonna be offering, that is snacks, and that would be your snacks for all your students. So you're probably gonna be offering free snacks, even that it says students in need, that's probably the closest that you're gonna be doing it. So that will be your snacks. And then, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to see what else makes sense. Okay, did that make sense, Senia? Hopefully, yes. You can give me a thumbs up if you say yes. So now, Rebecca, so if we plan to have lunch items for the students that do not have lunch, will I answer yes in line 68? Yes, please, because you will be answering yes in line 68 because you're offering lunch. And then in line 87, you will be probably going occasionally because it depends on when, not all everybody will be taking it, so that will be kind of like what it is. And remember, this is your application, guys. So things may change through the year because we know that things may, go in a different way. So if things change, don't worry, we will be reporting this at the end of the year. So we're gonna try to close this as we can, but we always can change things through the year. So don't feel scared if suddenly the things didn't work and we have to change in a different direction. So, okay. So I'm gonna have now, I'm moving into, sorry, I think I was in line 95. What frequency did you planning to offer subsidized snacks? So remember, I say no, I actually not offering subsidized snacks. I say no here. So I will say not applicable. What happened? Okay, Lori say, what happened if we are planning to offer maybe once a month the whole school lunch? Is that considered free meal? Yes, that will be considered a free meal. No, that will be a free meal because it's a lunch. So every time you have a special lunch and a special location, celebration or something, and you are covering your full school, that will be considered a full meal. Yes, it's a meal, no snack, and it's free. Yes. Okay, any other questions about here? Remember, there are few things that are not exactly what we are doing. We're gonna try our best to go as closest as we can, okay? Because these are adaptation from public school, so it's always a little bit tricky for us, but we're gonna try our best here. Okay, I'm gonna be moving into the next ones. And these ones you're familiar, you guys been answering these ones over and over the last times that I've been asking these. So it's about a school program and students living on reserve. So you can always say we do, like in my case, I wrote, we do not currently have any students living on reserve. Then let's say, for example, students living off reserve. A lot of you guys answer, some of the questions, some of the things that I've been seeing on the reports and in the application from last year is that yes, our program will be accessible to everybody, including children or students who live off reserve. Or yeah, so don't complicate so much here. You can say no, not applicable. That's also a good answer. Other indigenous students who may experience food insecurity will be accessible to all students. Very simple, you know these questions very well. Now, these ones, you guys have it very fresh because you just replied to these ones in your report. So I just write some examples. You can make it very simple, very easy, 2 lines, or even 1 line. That's more than enough. So it says here, describe, I am in line 103, sorry. Describe any actions that you will be taking to increase buying BC food. Remember that the plan is that eventually we are working a lot with local food. So we know sometimes that could be hard, and don't worry, we know sometimes, going to Costco is easier than actually going to a local farmer or something, because it's price and all other things that we have to be thinking and see what is best for your school. However, we want to again to plant a seed and seeing that we can to be mindful. We try to be mindful about this. So if some of the examples that I wrote here was like, we will buy any fruits and vegetables locally, we will try to shop around our school, we're going to try to buy it from the farm or from a local vendor. We are encouraging everybody who is buying, volunteers and everybody to buy as local as we can. Or so I have some schools very nicely saying we're trying to buy all our apples this year that are BC. That's more than enough. We are trying our best. So yes, feel free to write anything short, sweet here to just give us a little bit of what you're planning this year. And you can actually take it from your report because you already wrote about this in the report. Okay, I'm moving on into the line 113. And this is again actions that you are trying to do, increase your nutrition. You all are also very familiar with this. You just write about that one too. So I'm gonna read just a few examples that I wrote. I say we will be concentrate on selection of foods which has low sugar content, minimal ingredients. We will try to educate our families and our students to do healthy options. We're gonna buy some granola bars with less sugar, maybe limiting sugar snacks, buy more fruits and vegetables. Like you guys know this one very well, so I'm not gonna, take so much time going on this. Moving on into 121, and this is also back again. I know I've been having some questions about tracking. So just to give you a little bit of the background where this is coming from, the public schools are actually, they've been requested to track, like kind of like in an Excel sheet, and going through how much money did you spend in local and everything. For us, because a lot of us are actually just building and starting the first stages of this, tracking could be a little bit harder. So, but what we are encouraging is to say, and what I've been talking very kind, I love when you guys call me and we chat about this, is normally what the people is doing is like, oh yeah, I know how much money I spent on the farm. oh, I know how much money I spend on the school fruit and vegetables. That's for me, it's already tracking. So if that's your plan, good for you guys. You are already tracking. If no, and you maybe don't know exactly where to start, I'm always happy to talk to you. In this case, just for the sample, I write no yet. We will try to explore tracking. There are different options. If you guys already have, some of you guys have amazing tracking system already in place. Good, I'm so proud of you guys. And if we are not there yet, it's okay. You can write not yet. There is no wrong question. Nobody will, this won't affect your application, okay? So don't be worried about this. We're gonna move into line 124, and this is about how we work with children to try stigma-free. I know this is always a tricky one, and we are learning a lot. And this year we're probably gonna offer more about, more webinars about this and how other schools are working on. But for the sake of the application, we're gonna say, how do you identify the students in need? So family self-identified, 125, maybe not your case. Some schools, yes, they send an email and the family self-identified. Staff identify the students in the need. I wrote yes. I remember some of my teachers will come to me saying, hey, I see so-and-so. Maybe that's your system. Families that have already receiving financial assistance, maybe that's a yes for you. That's always the easiest way to go. Third party, maybe you're working with your priest, maybe you're working with your board, whoever you're working with. In that case, I wrote no. And then if you have any other, you can write yes. Okay, almost there, I promise. Okay, so strategies are you using to deliver food in a stigma-free way? So you can also copy what you did in your report, because you guys already know that. I wrote some examples here saying food is delivered and served to every student in a portable way. Lunches, we do community lunches to celebrate, and that remove the stigma-free. That was something that you guys were mentioning just before, saying, well, we want to have a lunch every month all together. So that's not a stigma. All of us are eating together as a community. The food is in the, in the office. Everybody can come and ask. So all the ones that you guys already wrote on your report. So that's always very good. Okay, 136. This is the tricky one, and this is the one that everybody been telling me that it's still not working, because I guess the form is making something weird. But don't worry. So we're gonna try to do it here. If you know approximately the portion of your students that are in need, some of you may know, no, some of you know. You can guess. It's not a wrong answer or a right answer. Some of you realize that this year you were thinking, well, maybe 20% of my population were this, and then you realize that when you get the emails and everything, you realize that maybe 30-40% of your population is the ones who are actually in need. So try to make an estimate. It's just for us to kind of have and saying there are more need than what we actually think. The funding is kind of like, just a little bit of the background. The funding is trying to feed 20% of the total population need in Canada, in BC. So it's almost nothing, right? So then when we realize that it's more need that we actually see in the numbers, it's always good for us to give that data. So now, this is the one that is not going to work. I tried so many times. I actually send it back to the ministry to say if they can fix it, but staffing is now on vacation and everything, so they are not able to fix it. But don't worry. When you write a number, let's see that my population I discovered that is 35, you will see that the number goes humongous. Or they doesn't let me enter. Let me see if I can do it 35. I will click here, and you will see that it goes very big. So don't worry. I know that the first two numbers are the numbers that you are putting in your as a need. I don't know if I will be able to change it in the next coming months, because I have a person who is not being here for the next month. But if you are very eager and willing to send it, I will make sure that the only number that I put is the first two digits. Okay. So thank you for being so kind, because I know it's always a little bit, with the forms. Okay, moving on into the line 139. This is about the tracking the numbers of your meals. And this is a very easy one. You can just say, yes, I confirm, or no, I do not. I hope everybody say yes. What is this important? Really, for the next year when we report about this funding, they really want to know how many meals we add. Remember, actually in the report, they ask us, the numbers are still a little bit off. But one they want is that we make sure that if we are offering 9 lunches this year, we have track of like, yeah, we offer 9 lunches. If we offer, daily snacks, we offer daily snack for 120 days. So that means 120 meals. So you just need to write, yes, I confirm, no numbers yet, but just something that you keep in mind to keep tracking next year and be a little bit more mindful about that. And then we're going to have community engagement. This is always about if you have any relation or you engage with any First Nations. In my case, I will say no. If you say yes, you will always change your next, like you will see that this will change. I will say no. And then if you are, engaging with anybody else in your school, we're also very familiar with these ones because we've just been talking about that in report. And I say yes, parents, students, and the staff still continue involved in the development of our food program. So that will be kind of what we are, in there. Now, I know that was a lot of information. I know there is a lot of going on here. Don't worry, I'm going to send you this, and also I'm going to send you some key notes like I did with the report, so you guys can have and follow up in case I was too fast or got lost or something like that. Let me see. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, I'm going to be very quick, and I know we have 10 minutes, and I'm going to try my best to go, but I really feel that it's important that we go together also with the survey. So if we click in the part 6, you're gonna find the link, the survey. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna go back a little bit here. This one, you can take the time to fill it out, save it as an Excel, and then send it to me with your name of your school and your code. Please don't put it on a thread because it gets lost. I'm receiving so many emails these days. So I sometimes I get lost if you put it in a already a thread. So please, a new email with your name and your code. So then I know and I can put it on a file, okay? Now, moving into the online survey. The online survey, you cannot. You have to sit down and you have to finish, because if you click something or you go somewhere else, all your information is gonna be gone. So when you're sitting, you have to concentrate. Will be 30 minutes approx when we're gonna be going. So I'm gonna try to also go into this one. I know it's a lot of click, 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 and I'm gonna ask you to bear with me. I promise I'm gonna try my best to go slowly, but also in a good pace, so you guys don't take extra minutes from you. I'm gonna be also sending a PDF of this, of all the answers that I did, so you guys can also have it as a sample and have it as a template in case you want to know what is happening in this and you don't have the answers yet. This information doesn't come to me. This survey goes directly, when you click submit, it will go directly to the Ministry of Education. So I won't be able to see your answer until later when they send me back to analyze this. But right now, if you ask me, can you check if I send it or not, I am unable to see it yet. So you just have to be patient with me with this and make sure that you could submit. So that means that they will be the ones who will be receiving it, okay? So once again, it's a drop-down menu with the name of your school. Here, I'm going to start first. I'm going to have two different parts. The first one is people who is using gift cards. I'm going to give you the easy route. Okay, so we're going to start with that people first. So do you currently have a food program located at your school? If you are using only gift cards, you're going to say no. They're going to be, why is the primary reason that you are not having a food program? Please write other, or well, whatever goes here, but I would recommend that you write other. Are you planning to establish a food program? Really, it's up to you guys if you say yes or no. I will say no in this time. What is the support your school do? So here you can write, I am an online school. I'm going to use only gift cards, or you can write, this year due infrastructure, we don't have enough, so we're gonna use gift cards. So just give me a little blurb there, so then we can know that you guys are using only gift cards. Write your name, your email, and click submit. That's how it's gonna be for people who's only using gift cards. Now, for all of us that are doing a mix, maybe some gift cards, maybe some lunches and everything, we're gonna have a little bit more on extra work. Don't worry, I'm gonna send also these two. So I know it's a lot of information, so don't worry. Okay, so remember, we write your name of your school. Do you have a food program? Yes. And now we're gonna go here. So we're gonna go breakfast program. Does your school have include a breakfast? You can say yes, few times, once a week, few, no. I will say not applicable. Okay, if you don't have a breakfast, do not. If your school have a lunch, maybe, you know, we were talking about, yeah, maybe a few times a month, or maybe once a month. I'm probably gonna be using once a month. Every time you click something here, you may have a different questions here. So I'm gonna give different variety. So I say yes. Who is your lunch program available? It will be available for all my students, okay? Because I'm gonna do a special lunch every month. We're gonna do soup program every month. So that will be it. Do the families need to register? Nope, nobody needs to register. You know, we will be doing, we will be just telling them, okay? Now, snack program. Snack program, I'm gonna do it, yes, I'm gonna do it daily. It's available to all my students. And I also gonna say they don't need to register. We're just gonna send an email saying there are gonna be snacks available for everybody. Here you go. Okay, so this is, does your school participate in any additional food program? This is for us to say, if you are also doing, remember that we did first in our application, yes, I'm doing grocery cards and maybe hampers. So I'm gonna say, yes, we will use grocery cards. Oh, sorry, grocery cards and hampers. When did your school planning? Oh, sorry. So that's it. And now, does your school food program include services to students in pre-K or post and school care? I know a couple schools have post post school care. Most of us not. I will say no, not applicable, because no, I'm not doing that. How does your school support students in reduce the stigma? Reduce the stigma. Remember, we already talked about it. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to. Oh. I am not sharing the screen, really? So you cannot see it? Oh dear. Okay, let me see. I was thinking that we will be sharing. Okay, let me try again. Okay, can you see it now? Let me see. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, guys, about this. Oh, you guys should be interrupt me before. Hopefully you guys got where I was going in this. Did you want me guys to go back again, or you're okay? You will have it in the video for sure, but I'm sorry about it. I didn't notice that I was not sharing this. I was thinking that as soon as I click this one, it will appear in my computer. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm actually was already in this question. I'm gonna try, because I know it's almost 11 and I don't want to take a lot of your time. Don't worry, I'm actually sending this one too. I'm sending a sample of this one. So if you miss any of the previous one, you will get it in the email later today. So we are using, sorry, I was talking about this one. I mean, in other program, going into, does your school have a food program and that includes services to pre-K and post care? I say no, not applicable, because in my case, we're not doing any of this. How does your school food program support students in a way that reduces stigma? This is also, guys, you can copy and paste what you did on your application. You can say, you know, we are a school, food is offered to all students. You know, just very simple. You don't need to complicate so much your life about this one. Okay, the next one will be, or you can copy what you just wrote on your application. So who prepares the food in your school? So in my case, you can apply as many as you need. So I will say teachers, parents, sometimes students. I also sometimes have restaurants. So I'm gonna do all those ones. And I will say, if you have a third party, I will say local restaurants. Okay. Do you have any program? Sorry, do any of your programs include of the following? Any of the following? Hot meal, that means any hot lunches that you have. Buffet, grab and go. Some of the high schoolers are actually having this system, and it's great when the kids can grab a muffin and a milk, or a muffin and a yogurt. So that will be your grab and go, or other. So I will just say hot meal, you know, really close to whatever is closer to your school. Do any of the programs include any of the following? And that will be a lot of the options that we have. So I will say yes, vegetables, yes, we do this, yes, we do no proteins, and then maybe plain milk. Okay. Does your school food program accommodate any of the following? So we will see what of the following will apply to you. I will say that we just do not allergies because that's basically what we will do at our school. Okay, this is the one that we also gonna be, and don't worry, I'm gonna send it to you so we got a good number. So you say, how many meals do you offer weekly? So the changing in this one is that is how many meals we're offering weekly, not a month, just a week. So let's see, for example, that I'm offering 5 times the snacks. So you have to say that it's I offer breakfast 2 times a day for the amount of your students. So in that case, I say I'm gonna offer snacks 5 times a week to 100 students. So that means that I'm gonna be using 500 meals or 500 snacks. I will be on. Oh, sorry, this is snacks. Sorry, no snacks. I'm offering 5 times a week. I'm offering breakfast because we have these beautiful schools that are doing toast and toppings. So I put it every day for 5 days, 200 students. That will be 500 meals. Okay. Approximately how many students in total access the meal? Remember, was 100. Approximately how many students in need access the meal weekly? So that will be the percentage that you think they access. Even that you put it for everybody, you know for sure that probably around 35 of my students that are in need are accessing to this one. So the numbers are going to be just, the first one is the big one if you're offering to everybody. The second one is the small one that is concentrated on the children that are actually in need. Okay. Nutrition. So the nutrition will be, this is basically, I'm not going to read all of them because they are exactly the same. But I just so you guys know, it's say, for example, how often you offer vegetables and fruits. And then you will be reading here, for example, could be fresh, frozen, canned, or anything except fruit juice. I'm going to stop here. Do you have to add anything if not doing meat with? No, if you are not doing meat, if you are only doing snacks, no, because it say here, please do not include the snacks. If you are only doing snacks, this part you just need to let it, like don't write anything. But you're gonna write this, as you can see, this has an asterisk. So that means that this is mandatory, this is mandatory. So you don't have to write anything here, but you're gonna write how many meals you're gonna, how many snacks you're gonna offer. I'm gonna understand when this come back to me that you're probably offering snacks instead of meals. Okay. I know it's very confusing. I'm sorry about that. These ones, this always gets a little bit tricky when we are filling it in. So how often do you offer vegetables? I'm gonna say that because we offer vegetables almost in all my snacks and all my meals. I'm gonna say yes with over 50%. The next one will be whole wheat and grain. And they will give you here parts of, just examples. The same will be proteins. They also have examples. 45 meals, you also have examples. And then drinks, sugary drinks, and you also have examples. This is meals. The second part is very similar, but this is for snacks. So if you are not offering meals, just don't write anything here and move on into the snacks. We're gonna go for food procurement. Food procurement is who helped to make and to provide the food, okay? So here is when you write again, well, your teachers, maybe your parents, and maybe your students. I have some high schoolers that are actually serving food to their bodies and everything, so you can include everything that approach to you. How many staff volunteers are involved? So this is where you actually write. So remember that we were talking about volunteers? So I will say, yes, my assistant is helping, 3 parent volunteers are helping, and maybe a teacher in culinary arts are helping. So I have 5 people who's helping to do the full program. Okay, sure, absolutely. I will be passing. I can drink some water. Thank you. Yes, I was too fast. Okay. So these are always I'm glad actually. I'm very while people is catching up. I'm gonna chat a little bit about this. I'm so glad that this time they give us kind of like a just click percentage, because last time we were the ones who had to write it, and it was a little bit more confusing. So we suggest that maybe they should be giving us a little bit of more answers, so you guys will be easier just for you to click. So that will be something that we can do it a little bit easier and faster.
Rocio.
Yes.
So I won't be serving meals weekly. It will be occasionally. So
Okay.
approximately how many meals are offered weekly? But put 0 or
Uh, you know what? I actually, yeah, you're right, because that will be only weekly. And you are not gonna be offering. You know what? You should just write 0. That would be very confusing, I have to say. Yeah, they didn't give us another opportunity to write anything else, right? They didn't give us to say
yeah.
like, and did they let you write numbers? No, right. They only let you write number. So you know what? Let's write 0. But then write me your number, so then I will be able to figure it out here.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yes, I will make a note about this actually. So then I can, and these ones are made by the ministry, guys, so we don't have any control on what they ask. Okay. Sorry.
Rocio, so that's for the meal frequency, we're writing 0 if we're not offering meals weekly. And then for the other two questions, approximately how many students are in need and total access, that we still put in if we're doing snacks.
You know what?
Or
I
in that section, do we just do 0, 0, 0 if we're just doing meals occasionally?
You know what? I think that's what it's gonna be doing, because the question really say meals. They don't say snacks, right? It say meals.
Yeah.
And we're not doing meals. You know, now that you guys are, thank you for making me aware of this, because yeah, you should be writing 0 if you are not offering weekly meals. If we're writing snacks, I will be able to see it here when I go back and analyze this, because what you're offering is snacks. So Scott, I know I was saying that you write maybe the only thing that I see, and the major problem that I'm gonna see, is that probably if we don't write anything here, they probably not gonna let you submit, because it has a little red thing here. So that's my only concern, that if you write nothing, you know, so probably you will have to write 0 if you are not offering meals, and then we will be discovering, I'm gonna be able to see that you guys are offering snacks here.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then if you're offering meals but you're not doing it weekly, just write me here your numbers, and then I will be able to see here. And then my guess will be that you guys are not offering weekly. So that will be a lot of, for me, when analyze the data, just to kind of like go and understand. But I mean, really, guys, it's not your fault. So we're gonna try our best to do this. And I'm apologize already for this, because it could be very confusing. I'm so sorry about that. But let's just write, if you're not offering weekly, let's just write 0, but write me here your numbers, and then write me here this. So that means that I will understand that you guys are offering some kind of meal. It's just not happening every week. Did that make sense? Okay, Lori, let me see.
Processed proteins.
Okay, I have Lori. I'm gonna read yours, Lori, sorry, so I can see, and while other people are still working on it, so they have some extra time to work. Lori say, hi, our school did not participate last year and wish to start participating this coming year. If your school currently do not have any program, do you want to anticipate, but want to participate to get the allocated amount? Please select, do I select the currently your school for program again, your school? Okay, are we talking, are we in the, Lori, do you mind? Okay, so you're talking question 2 in the survey, right? Okay, so because it's your first year, and I don't know in your specific situation. That's okay, Lori. It's okay. I am happy to just talk to you. So in your situation, it looks that you didn't participate last year. You're participating this year, but you didn't have any program yet. So if you didn't have any program yet in place, because you were not part of this, you can write no. We don't have any food program in place. And then when this is a reason, you can say, this is my first year participating in Feeding Futures. So you don't have to fill all these things that we're doing right now. You don't have to do it because it's your first year. Even if you have, let's say that you have in your school lunch program already, but it was not through Feeding Futures. So you don't really have to write anything about that, because you don't know. So you're off the hook now. Yeah, people who is very people who doesn't have all the program in place, they have a shorter version. People who has the program in place, unfortunately, have a longer version of this. So yes, yes. Okay. So I make my notes here, guys. I appreciate. I'm glad that we are talking about this. It's always very good when I'm have you guys in the background, so you can tell me about the things that I don't see it. So I can make some notes and go back to the ministry and say, hey, what about this? So thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, so we have meals and snacks, very similar. We agree that if you are not offering every week, we're gonna write 0, but you're gonna write the numbers of students and the number of meals. No, the number of students and then the number of students in need. Okay, we agree on that. And then I make already here my notes saying that that means that you guys are not offering it weekly, but you're offering somehow, some way in your school. Snacks and meals are very similar about the question that they asked. This is about nutrition, so very simple. Remember, closer to what your school is doing, doesn't have to be perfect. That's just for us to give us an idea. I'm moving into food procurement. Food procurement is the food that people is making, of things that people is doing. So that will be who provide the procurement of your food in your school. So that's the teachers, in my case, parents and guardians, anybody who's helping, or students. Maybe some students not, but for you, maybe some of them are very young, so they don't have to do it. And then we were in this one that say how many people of your staff are involved in the delivery of your food program. So here is anybody who is involved. It could be your assistants, it could be parents, volunteers, it could be staff, it could be anybody. So we're trying to figure out how many people, how many workforce is actually needed to do this. Okay, next one. Where is the food used in your school sourced from? Remember, we already replied this. It could be groceries. Groceries are any other grocery that is no Costco. It could be Costco, Cisco, restaurants or fast food, any other like fish, fisheries, markeries. E-commerce is Amazon. We have few people who actually ask, Amazon to bring things. So for e-commerce, normally what they are doing is, they especially locations that are far away, they just ask Amazon to bring granola bars or those kind of things. Donated or any other. Okay, we're almost there. I promise. Okay, so local food. We have, do we have any of these of the following type of food programs? So some of you may have some of these, some of you have none of these, and that's okay. So that will be, you have cafeteria service. This is more not about how your food, like let's see that you're a high school and you have a cafeteria, but your cafeteria is not being part of the food program. They still want to know if you have the capacity to, right? So if you have a cafeteria, you can say yes. Some of you guys have a salad bar. I learned that this year. Cool. That sounds very cool. Anything of this one that works for, in my case, for this, I will write catering service, and I will write maybe, I think that will be the only thing, for me, that is, you're buying things from, your local sushi place or your pizza place or something like that. I will write that. If none of these one, because your pack maybe is doing the lunch or somebody else is doing the lunch and it's not that, you don't have to write none, or you write other. How much food is served at your school that is prepared in-house, okay, or from scratch? I know some people very lucky that they are actually having all the food prepared there, depending on which is the percentage. Remember, try to go as close as you can. I will say that maybe over 25% in my case. Did your school buy BC products? We're gonna say yes. Remember, we're trying our ways. I'm trying my my apples and everything. And this is when the funny part comes, because he say, please list the top 5 BC products that you are buying based on dollar amount. And I'm giving just an example. You may say no, because you may buy in everything in Costco and not all of them are local. But in case you say yes, I will say that for me, what I buy local is apples. I also buy milk. You guys know that there are a brand that is BC, that you can buy some milk from there. I'm gonna say pears. I don't know. Oh, berries. I'm gonna write berries. Berries because we have berries now. And I'm gonna write sandwiches. You know why? So some of you wanna say, what do you mean sandwiches? Everything that is built or formed in BC is considered BC. And I know it sounds silly, but even if you're buying a pizza that has cheese from the States, but the people who did it in BC, means that you are already buying BC products. So that's when the little loop goes in, right? So you can say, yes, I'm gonna do that. And then we're gonna do, where does your school serve BC local food? And then remember, it's very similar to the question that we have above, that is grocery stores, Costco, Cisco, or other, Gordon Foods. We have restaurants and fast food. It's very similar to what we are buying. So I'm just gonna say grocery stores. Most of you are doing a lot of save on food, so that could be your answer. Looking forward, are you planning to increase, how do you anticipate your BC local food? I will say in my case, probably will stay the same because I'm going to keep buying the things in the same place. Some of you actually increasing because you are starting rolling in programs that are BC based. So you always can write yes. So I will write for this example, I will write, we will continue with the same program we have now. So something very simple about what you're doing. If you are increasing, you can always write, well, we're going to be part of the fruit and vegetables. So we partnered this year with a farm and we're going to be increasing that. So really depend on you guys. Okay, moving into the local food and the programs that your school are using. This question I actually sent it to you guys on the March survey. So that's a very good. It was a very good to learn how you guys are promoving and working with education literacy. Sorry, with nutrition literacy. So, for example, we have different options: growing food from students through the gardens and farms. We have integrating local food literacy concepts. A lot of you guys are doing that. Local food literacy elements incorporating our clubs and extracurricular activities, holding taste tests with local products. That will be pretty cool. Hopefully somebody can do it and invite me. Field trips to farms. I know a lot of elementary schools are going to visit farms and learn more about food. Having farmers visiting your cafeteria, or promoting local produce with signs and posters, hosting events, community events, having more connected with agricultural or food produce, and other programs. So really, there is no wrong and right. If you are doing none of these, that's okay. If you're going to start this year, you can write something. So this is just for us to learn how you guys are working on this, and actually discover very cool projects that you guys some of the schools are following in. And now we're gonna go for money, okay? So this is also the one that they always get a little bit confused, and we're gonna try to go as close as we can to our answers. So we'll start with the first one that say, what is the average total out of the pocket cost to a student, okay? To a student, not to the school, to a student with an identified need, without an identified need to access breakfast. So if you are not doing any breakfast, skip this question. If you are doing breakfast, how much your student that has no need is paying for breakfast every day. So I'm not doing any breakfast, so I'm skipping this question. Now, the second question is related. So say the average out of pocket to a cost to a student without identified need. So that means that the child who has a need is going to pay the full amount or is going to pay less. In my case, I'm going to say, you know what? It's actually free. But I remember I was not offering any breakfast, so I'm taking away this one. I'm not answering. But if you are offering breakfast and it's free or less than $5, how much the student is paying? Student means not just the student, family paying, okay? What is the average total out of pocket for the students without identified that access lunch? So now it's the same question, but this time is for lunch. So a child who is buying lunch normally through Munch Lunch or Pizza Day or Hot Dog Day or soup or any program that I was offering is around $5 to $10. That's my regular amount that the children pay for that. But the second question will be, with an identified need, actually every child who has an identified need, it will be free. So these will be the answers that I will be waiting, or that I will be writing, sorry. Okay, Moving on into the next one is, in addition to the funding of the ministry, did you receive any additional funding? So anybody else? I know some of you guys are receiving funding from some First Nations funds. Some of you are receiving funding from your churches, from another nonprofit organization. So you can write it here if you have. In my case, I don't have anything, so I won't write anything here. To what degree does your current school feel that the funding is allowing to feed all the students with identified need in your school? And that could be really, how do you feel? How was you? We already have experience of 1 year, and we know how much this will help, right? That I was able to feed everybody, that I was able to, you know, not really feed anybody, like I was able to do a little bit more than last year. So really up to you. I will say, well, because maybe I get enough funding and I was able to create programs. Your gift cards were able to help people. So I will say that my funding was a good way to support my families. And we have like 5 more questions, I promise. Facilities, okay? Does your school have full kitchen, cafeteria, vending machine, any other place to prepare your food, no dedicated food preparation area, or any other? So if you write other, you will see that a new thing will appear, so you can describe. Some of us, or I read and I see a lot of you guys are having like a little classroom. Maybe you can say we kind of like create a classroom for us to prepare. Some of you are using your staff kitchen. So anything that you are using to prepare the food, please write it here. Or if any of these apply, click on those ones. What additional equipment or infrastructure do you need to operate a full food program? Here is kind of the wish list. Take advantage if you feel that, you know what, we would love to have a commercial dishwasher. We will know. They really want to understand and see what is needing, what the schools are needing. That doesn't mean that they're going to give us to us, but it's important that we make a statement and make sure that we say, you know what, we don't really have a commercial dishwasher, so I cannot wash 100 dishes, right? 150 dishes. So we would love to have a commercial dishwasher. So hopefully this start putting a little bit seeds there to maybe, have different fundings that can help the schools to have a food program. But at this moment, we're just telling them what we need. So feel free to click as many as you need. Where does your food prep for prepared food take place? So this is, again, if you are preparing the food on your site, if you are buying the food from a restaurant, if you are doing some cater. So it really depends on where is your food program coming from. And then the next one is, does your school have a garden that supplements school food? A lot of you guys this year built beautiful gardens that are actually going to be giving you some veggies for this year. So maybe it won't supplement the full thing, but maybe supplementing some kind. So you can always say yes. Partnerships, we already talked about this in application. Does your school engage with local First Nations? You can say yes or no. And any other organizations. So some of you guys have, like, I go back again to say Salvation Army, or anybody else who is doing with the food bank. I know a lot of schools are working with food banks, so you can write here. I will write no, and then I will write yeah, maybe Salvation Army. Okay. Okay, and the extra ones are 3 more questions that actually this is more for you, and I didn't give you any examples in this one, but I will send some examples in the PDF that I will be sending, so you guys can always take a look and share and use it. So is what the barriers that you have to grow your food program. So always you can say, we don't have enough space or staffing, or, really what is happening. I think everybody who has already experienced to have 1 year, you can write a lot of things, or you can say, or you can realize much better. If you have no barriers and you feel that everything is going well, please feel free to also say, no barriers, we're doing great. Any opportunities to improve your current program? Go again, right, feel free. There is no wrong answers in this one. This is more for knowledge from the ministry to know, what we can do to improve. Maybe we need more staff, maybe our volunteers are not reliable, right? So we would like to have a full-time person who help us, or we would like to, improve our kitchen facilities, or improve the way that we distribute these, so many ideas that I received last time that I think was great for us to know and that been already reported to the ministry. So new things that after a year that you realize that maybe will be good to write and let them know, sorry. And the last one is, what are the programs? What is the part that you are proud? And I know I've been asking so much for this, but I always feel very excited. I have to say, now that I'm going through the reports, reading what you guys been doing and how you feel excited and things that are working are always a very nice part of my job. And not just, and I'm being selfish right now to say I love reading those ones, but I know it's a lot of work behind the scenes. I know even just right now, right? It's been an hour and a half and you've been feeling this, and it's a lot of your extra time in your summer and you are still here committed. So I feel that you should be very proud of what each of your schools are doing. You feel free to write something if you feel very proud. And if you feel that, you know what, I don't really want to write anything here, that's okay too. You don't have to write anything, but I always love reading how wonderful you guys are doing. Then you will write your name, your email, and you will see that this button will be gray and you will submit. When you submit, the survey is gone and I won't be able to access. As I mentioned before, this information will go to the ministry and they will send it back to me, but later, probably in October. If by any chance you feel stressed and you say, hey, you know what, I didn't like what I did, I didn't feel that I answered properly, if you're watching this video and you realize that maybe you didn't answer or we didn't understand because I didn't explain this before, you are welcome to submit it again. And I will always take the most recently answers. So when I get the full answers, if I see your school twice, I will always keep the most recently. Okay, so in case you feel the need to say, you know what, I actually feel that I want to redo it because I don't feel comfortable with my answers, I'm happy to do that. Send it and I will just save the last version of you when I receive the information. So I know some people already drop out because it's very late. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop sharing. And I know a few of you guys are still here, so thank you so much for staying here. I'm gonna stop my recording now. Thank you so much for coming.